What's going on, guys? Welcome back, and in today's video we are going to be doing the Thunder Warriors, the Battle of Mount Ararat, the last moment of the Proto-Legion. Or was it the last moment? It was certainly an eradication, and even the more I've been looking into this, I sort of feel like it could be almost like a prequel to the betrayals at Istvan. So, without further ado, let's get into the build, into the diorama, and have a look at some of the frustrations that Rig's been going through trying to get this built. Oh, there was one or two. So to start off this build, I had to think to myself, what is a Thunder Warrior? Now, essentially, the very bare bone Billy basics of what they are is, at the time, it was the age of strife. It was just after the dark age of technology, and the world had been obliterated and split up into techno-barbarian warring tribes. So people that have got a little bit of a screw loose, that are happy to bludgeon the next guy over just for a little bit of land, or maybe that's my water source, I'm now going to cave your skull in because you looked at it. That's effectively what it was. Oh, and then also I'm going to fire a nuke at you just to reassert dominance, of course. So, you know, not the most stable-minded of humans or individuals to begin with. That's what the Emperor took to make his Thunder Warriors. He then filled them with a concoction of stims and battle stims and created his Thunder Warriors that were very, very unstable. They had to keep having top-ups of this concoction that they were being injected with. Otherwise, they would just either go insane or die. Not the greatest way to start off your army, but I think we're going to understand why the Emperor did what he did later on when we get to it. So that, at this point, is what I'm thinking. And also, you got the Mark 1 Thunder armor. Now, I'm thinking, you know, only the upper part of that armor was powered, so probably didn't have a massive power pack on it like the Space Marines do today. So that's why I've gone with just sort of not adding any power packs to these at all. I've also used arms from the Catachan box. I've used bits from the Mark 3 Heresy armor. So I've been sort of grabbing bits from left, right, and of course I've 3D printed some parts because I'm trying to keep the costs down. So I went with what I've got, and what I've got is I've got those two boxes, and I've got a 3D printer, so I'm going to use it where I can. When it came to the Custodian, there was a plan. There was an initial plan there. But just remember, no plan survives first contact. So, basically what I'm saying is, what I wanted to do was to get this filament light on the center of the sword and have it so that it looked like, you know, the glow of the sword was actually the filament light. Yeah, cool idea, right? I know. Didn't happen this time. In fact, all I have left from that is a photo, which I'll put up here, showing that it did work for a moment. I left it all overnight to then dry, everything to then sort itself out, came back and it didn't work. Clearly there's an issue here. One which, at this current moment in time, I do not have the skill level or the knowledge to work out just what went wrong. I've got a feeling it might do something to do with the clay maybe shrinking as it dried, possibly pulling on something and disconnecting it. I don't know, but it's not to say that I'm not going to try it in the future. Also, if that just gives you a good idea to go, oh hey, I could do that, carry on. Do not let me stop you. In fact, I encourage you to go off and try these things, which is why which is why I like sharing them. There's just something that I really love that feels so involved about showing my ideas here so that you guys can take them and do what you want to do with them. Yeah, you might see me fail, but I'm always going to show you guys when I do fail, and I'm going to show you how I overcome that failure even. So here I've just gone, right, do you know what, take it all off, start again, see what the issue is, see if I can salvage any of this. Is that doable? Because that is always an option. So salvage attempt here was to use the same setup but just get some LEDs on, have a little fire to backlight some of these models, so to really bring in a bit of atmosphere and have some sort of fire in the background. Yeah, cool. Something is starting to go wrong with all this wiring. I don't know whether it's just putting too much solder onto some of these points or not, but after a while these lights just stopped working. And don't say batteries. These were brand new batteries. Maybe I've done something to them. I don't know. But this was another failed idea to salvage. So here we can see me just doing a couple of tests, and the lights, they're no longer working. Frustrated isn't even the word. This has been a few days of building, rebuilding, and it's really not going the way that I wanted it to. So I've decided, right, stop there, stop that. What we're going to do is go no LEDs and go back to my simpler roots. And obviously be a gentleman about it, of course. I wouldn't dare flip the bird at this electronic mess. My God. So what I ended up going with was this circular base. As the Battle of Mount Ararat wasn't the glorious final stand of the Thunder Warriors that the Emperor and the Imperium would have you know. It wasn't the Thunder Warriors putting down the last separatists against the Emperor as they finally put their flag on the final dead body and died of their wounds. No, this was a betrayal. Out in the open, on the plateau of Mount Ararat, the Custodian Guard and the Space Marines, the First Legion, put down the Thunder Warriors like dogs. They removed them from the situation with extreme prejudice and violence. They were no longer needed in the Emperor's vision of the world. They were too volatile. They were too aggressive. They didn't have much room to think. It was just attack the line forward, attack the line forward. No tactics, just push hard and push fast and go. That wasn't what the Emperor wanted. He had his new super weapon. He had his Space Marines. So at the Battle of Mount Ararat, although not all the Thunder Warriors were killed, some would escape to fight another day. The majority of them would be slaughtered and killed that day on Mount Ararat. That's why I want to get this circular feeling, this feeling of being encircled and pushed to a ledge, which is what I've slightly created for these Thunder Warriors to stand upon. So when it came to the painting of these Thunder Warriors, I really wanted to do a lot of battle damage on them. I wanted them to look like they had been from battle to battle, just being pushed harder and harder until they've got to the end. So for that, I've gone and got a sponge and some tweezers, and I've taped the tweezers together so I don't have to hold my hand constantly on the tweezers and just get muscle fatigue from there. So nice little tip for you if this is something that you're planning to do. I then want to get as much paint off as possible and then just start dabbing on that lighter colour. So it is a much lighter colour than what I've painted them in, because I want it to look like that's the undercoat of the paint that's there, and then we're going to sort of add some rusting effect to it. So we'll then add a little bit of Ridox hide and then eventually small amounts of metallic paint just to give it that look that it's gone. So you've got light scratches, deeper scratches, and then right down to the core metal. And that is something that I knew I really wanted to get on these Thunder Warriors, because I wanted the Custodian Guard to look almost untouched. I wanted him to look like his armor was pretty much pristine, as if he had been cutting through these Thunder Warriors with so much ease that it looks like he's barely been involved in the battle at all. And if you're wondering about my color choice, I went with non-metallic metal for painting up my Custodian Guard, which is why on the color wheel opposite of yellow is purple, so hence why we've got some purple Thunder Warriors. That's pretty much the only reason why. Otherwise, I don't really paint purple armor a lot, and I tell you what, I quite enjoyed painting purple. Oh god, am I going to start a Chaos Army? No, I can't see myself doing that. Not when the next thing I want to do is involving Grey Knights, so you never know. So I'm going to leave a link above as to how I paint non-metallic metal, and you'll see that in one of the top corners now, instead of me going through and talking about painting the non-metallic metal. And let's get on, get this diorama all finished and see our end results. Well then guys, just while I'm finishing up in the background here, I just want to say a massive thank you to Anonymous for A, having a really cool name, and B, suggesting this to me in the comments. I would never have thought to have done Thunder Warriors or Mount Ararat. just at all if you hadn't suggested it to me. So thank you for bringing that to my attention, and I really hope you've enjoyed this build, and I hope you like the end result. I don't feel like it's one of my best ones, but I still absolutely love it. Anyone else got any suggestions, pop them down in the comments, and you're pretty much guaranteed that I will do my best to create something around that. Anyway guys, I really hope to see you in the next one. If you've enjoyed, please subscribe, like, leave a comment, all that fun stuff, and I will see you in the next one.